So, developing a thread-based program, right, in Java is very straightforward. Okay, so it's not complicated. Managing thread is a bit difficult, that we'll learn. Okay, but in today's class, we'll learn how many ways we can create a thread. Okay, so in Java, like Java provide a basic APIs, okay, to create a thread. Okay, so if you see here, so let's assume if I take a class, let's take my thread. I'm creating my thread, okay, which extends a thread class. Okay, so in Java, if someone asks you to how we can create a thread, okay, so always remember whenever you run a program, right? So this main program, right? This is the main program. Okay, forget about this right now. So you are in this program. So let me run this one. Okay. So what I will do, I will print thread th equal to thread thread dot current thread. So basically what I'm doing with this code, okay. So there is a class called thread. So if you see here, thread also implement Runnable. Okay. So there is a class called thread, and that class is having a method called current thread. So what it will do, it will capture the current thread and return you that thread. Okay. So later on when you print, let me print this one. So I'm just printing thread name. We'll see what is the thread name here. What is the thread name? Main. So even you are not creating thread by your own, by default there is a thread called main thread, which take the responsibility of your program execution. Understand? So what happened whenever you run a program, a thread got created, okay, which we call main thread, and also a thread belong to certain group. Okay, so there are group as well.
JVM will create that. JVM will create that.
Yes, yes. So by default, a main thread got created, and that thread will take a responsibility of your program execution, right? But in between, if you want to create your own thread, right, to do certain tasks, so for that we need to learn how to create our own thread, right? This thread is created by JVM, right? So but we want to create our own thread, right? So how we can create our own threads? So there are majorly two ways, and non-popular way, if you go, there are four ways. Okay, you can create thread. So what we'll do, before going to any description, we'll first try to create a thread. Okay, so the first step, the first way, there are four ways, right?
Yes.
So there are four ways to create thread, right? Okay, so now we'll learn the first way. What is the first way? The first way is extending thread class. Okay, so let me do that. So what I did here, first of all, any class, it's not you have to take a class name my thread. You can take any name. Okay, but I'm taking like my thread. Okay, you can take like custom thread. Okay, So now I created a class called custom, which is extending thread by extending thread class. So I just extend a thread class. Then after that, what do we have to do? So when you extend the thread class, okay, you have a method called run. You have to public void run. Okay. Okay. So now inside that I just write, I will write I am thread. Okay. And then what I will do, I will just write this. I will just copy and paste this here. Okay. So I'm just writing that hi, I am, and I'm just giving a ts dot get name. Okay. So once you, the first step is create a class, extend the thread class, override this method, provide your implementation. So you can do anything over here. So right now I'm just printing the thread name, right? I'm not doing anything else, right? Okay, this is the first step. So what I will do, the first step is create your class, extend the thread class, override this method, provide implementation. So right now I'm just printing a class name. You can write anything. Let's assume if you want to print 1 to 10, you will just write your own logic here to print 1 to 10. Okay, it's nothing like that. You, the int I equal to 0, I is less than 10. Okay, and I plus plus. Okay, and then you are having system.out. I just print I. Okay, so now after doing that, so you created your own thread, which name thread class, which name is custom thread. So now you have to create a thread object, right? Custom thread object. So I will go here, right? I will first type here custom thread obj equal to new custom thread, right? Now you what is the name of your object? Obj. Okay, let me name it T1, thread 1. Let me give the name of that object T1, which is symbol of thread 1. Now I will do T1 dot start. Okay, so start is a method we will see here. Okay, 1 second. See, this is, you are seeing this method start, which is taking a task, right? If you go, see this start method, which take a parameter, right? And there might be, you are having this start. 1 second. So you see this start belong to thread class, right? Which is having this implementation, right? Synchronize and a start. Then again, it is calling a method called start 0, right? So if you go to this implementation, you will go deeper that I don't want to go now. Okay. So a start method belong to a thread class. So basically what it does, what it will do, it will schedule this current thread to run independently. Okay. Okay. Let me run this. Okay. So see what it does. It will first, you printed, like we have printed our main thread here, right? Then we created, then we started. When we got started, it will go and execute whatever there in run method. Okay. So if you see in run method, what I'm doing, I'm just taking the current thread name. Hi, I am current thread. What is the current thread name? Thread 0. Okay. And that is the reason we are getting printed thread 0. And then I am printing 0 to
0 to 9.
0 to 9. Clear?
Yeah.
So if someone asks you, how can you create a thread by using thread class? Can you write the code?
Yeah.
Okay. So first you have to define a custom class, then extend the thread, override run method, provide your implementation, and then go to the main class, main function, and then create the object of your class, and then call t1.start. Okay. Now we'll see. Okay, we'll discuss other things later. First, we'll learn how to create threads. So this is one of the way to create a thread, right? Okay. Now we'll learn other way. Okay, what is the other way around? Okay. So by implementing Runnable, by implementing Runnable. Okay. Okay. So if you see by implementing, if you go and see the thread class also implement Runnable. See? So if you say there is only one way by implementing Runnable, that is also somehow correct, right? Because thread class is implementing Runnable, you are extending thread class and then you are creating thread. So basically at the end, it's all about implementing Runnable. So we'll see by implementing Runnable, how you can create a thread. Okay. So let me take a class. So I will name it thread Runnable. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm implementing Runnable. Okay. Okay. Runnable is an interface. So if you go into this interface, which method it's having? It's having abstract method, right? Run. So if anyone who implement Runnable have to override run method, right? So I'm overriding run method. Okay. And while overriding, I will provide my implementation. So let me provide the implementation system.out.println. I am a thread created by implementing Runnable. Okay. Clear? I am a thread created by, implementing Runnable. So basically, and if you want to write any other code, you can write. Let assume similarly, if you want to print 1 to 10, you can just have, you can only have that also, no issue. Okay, and then you can also write here this after this. Okay, so now the second step by implementing, I have implemented Runnable, overrided, provided, or it seems very straightforward, right? Okay. Now I have to create a thread Runnable object, right? Correct. This thread Runnable object we're supposed to create, right? Okay. So now go to, let me comment this first one. Okay, I don't want to execute this. Sorry, not this. In main, let me comment this out. Okay. So now what I will do, the first step to create a thread, first you have to create the object of your class. What is the class name? What is the class name? Thread Runnable. I will go first create the thread Runnable object. Obj equal to new thread Runnable. Done. Object got created, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first step. Now second step, this object you have to pass. So you have to do thread T1 or T2, any name you give, equal to new thread. Okay, and then semicolon. So now we created thread 2, right? Because, and then this object, which object you created, runnable object, right? That will pass here. Understand? And then you will have,
Create two threads.
okay,
Hmm.
you can give, it's not like T2, you can give any name, TH.
Yeah.
Okay, you can give any name, it's not like T2, give TH, thread. Okay, what is the first step? The first step when you are going with runnable, implement runnable, right?
Yeah.
Create a class, implement runnable, override run method, provide your code, implementation, any logic you want to write. Then go to main function, create the object of your class, that class you created. Then create an object of thread and pass your object in the constructor, right? And then the ts.start. Let me run this one. See, it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll see another way. Okay. Now there is a way which we call anonymous. Okay. Anonymous class you guys know, right? Okay. So we'll see by. Okay. So for anonymous class, we don't no need to create a class, right? So let me comment this out. Okay. So now we'll go to main method. Okay. I will type here. We are going to create thread with by using anonymous class. Okay. So we'll see how to create that one. Okay. So the first of all, take a class reference, right? So I'm taking thread. Okay. And I'm a thread th anonymous. Okay. Equal to new thread, right? So what we used to do, we used to pass a object of a class which implement runnable, right? But because we are going in anonymous way, so we cannot pass object of a class here, right? Correct. So what we'll do? Okay. So here, what we'll do is we'll create new runnable. Okay. New runnable. So you see here, this is ending here, then new runnable, and this is anonymous class. Understand? You remember, right? To create an anonymous
Yes.
class, what we need? We need abstract class reference or interface, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, whatever I was supposed to write, so let me write it, this stuff here. Same thing, whatever I write it here, right? And let me write it here. Clear? I am implementing. Clear? One second. Clear? So now I have taken a class, a reference th, then I'm just creating a thread class, okay, where in the place where I'm supposed to pass the object, I am passing anonymous class object, right? So once I pass, I cannot trace that object, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, because here anonymous class implementation is done, right? Then I will write th, what is this? tha thread anonymous dot start, right? See, clear? So it's giving thread 0 name, right? We'll see how to change thread name and all, but first we have to learn how many ways we can create a thread object. Okay. Now, the fourth way, okay, which you might understand and might not. Okay. The reason is I have not teach you guys till now this Java 8 feature, right? Which is Lambda and all. Okay, so I'm just doing a comment. I'm just you guys go through that later on when you replay that video. Okay. Okay. So now the fourth way that we have, using Lambda. I'm using Lambda. Also, you can create a thread in Java. Okay. So how we'll do that? So nothing. It's pretty straightforward. Thread th lambda equal to new thread. Okay, and just give semicolon. Okay. So in the place, right here, what we used to pass, if you see here, first example, second example, runnable. I'm creating runnable thread object, and then I'm passing that object, right, in thread class, right, constructor, right, obj, and then I'm doing ts.start to start the thread, right? In similar fashion, here, what we'll do, here either we have to pass object. A second option, you can pass an anonymous inner class. The third option is you'll pass a lambda. So lambda means it won't take any argument. Okay. And like this. So you'll just have to, whatever you are doing there, right? Same implementation, you can give it here as well. So here I am a thread created by lambda impl not anonymous. So this thread dot print thread hire ts dot get name and all, we'll see. So what I did here, I just passed lambda, right? I just passed lambda to this as a, basically I pass a code in a thread argument. See this thread, right? Thread and enable task. So I just created a runnable task. How I created a runnable task? So when you learn a functional interface, you'll understand this code. So basically, functional interface which is runnable. So in runnable, you will see there is a method called run, right? And run will take 0 argument and it return nothing, right? So if you take our lambda is also like taking 0 argument and returning nothing, right? It's just executing the piece of code. And that is the reason, because this code, this lambda can be mapped to runnable task. We are able to pass this lambda into this argument. So basically we are passing the code as an argument. It's normal. In the place of object, we are passing lambda function because the thread having a constructor which will take runnable task. Okay. And once that is done, right? So if you see here, we have, once that is done, you can just start this one. Okay. So what is the thread name? thl dot start. Here. So this is the fourth way to create a thread, right? Using lambda. Okay. So now there is one more way that we can use to create our threads and all, and we can do thread management as well. That we'll learn deep in further classes using executor service. So once we're done with thread communication, everything, we'll go to executor service. But today, at least we should know, like we should create a thread using executor service, so that we should know like there is other way also to create a thread. Okay, so now you created using anonymous class, you created using Runnable, you created thread, you create by Lambda, right? By extending thread, by implementing Runnable interface, right? So we'll learn. So till now, what we are doing, we are creating thread manually, right? So there is a framework called executor service. Okay, or we can say executor service. So we call it executor framework. With that, we can create and manage thread. Okay, so today we'll create a thread. Okay, management and all we'll see later. Okay, so by using executor API. Okay, so there is a API. Okay, or we can say there is a library or there is a package. Okay, from that package we are having a class called executor service. So we can take that class help to create our thread. Okay, so how to create a thread by using executor service? That's very straightforward. So first you have to create object of executor service. So you see here we are having executor service, right? Okay, so what I will do, I will name it exe equal to new is equal to new. Sorry, it's not new. Okay, so we can have executors. So we are having executor service and then we are having executors. Okay, so executors dot new. So first we have to create a thread pool. So right now we are going with the fixed thread pool. Executor. One second. Okay. So now you see there are multiple thread pools like cache thread pool, new cache thread pool. So we'll learn all about this, but right now we have to learn how to create a thread using executor service. So first we'll first create a executor service reference, then we'll take executors, we'll go with new fixed thread pool. Let it means like how many thread you want to create, how many thread you want in a thread pool. So we'll have 3 or 2, whatever you want. You just, so if you give 2, it will create a 2 thread max for you. Okay, because it's a fixed thread pool, right? And then what I will do, I will write a for loop. And I equal to 0, I is less than, let 10, I plus plus. Okay, and then we have created right here exe. So we'll copy this exe, we'll paste it here, and then we'll have execute. So see this execute, right? Which type of commands this method is taking? Runnable, right? So we can pass any runnable reference here, okay? And we can directly pass like this by Lambda, right? Okay, and you can write it here something like system.out.println by using executor service. Okay, and then let's assume whatever I'm doing here, right? I will just copy and paste it here. Sorry. Something. Okay, so just copy fill here. Okay, so it's like fill here. Okay, so let me, okay, 1 second. Okay, so what I'm doing, so this executor, right, having a 3 threads. So every time when we call this execute, so I'm going to call 10 times. So every time in between this 3 thread, 1 thread will get assigned to this to perform this task. Okay, from here to here. Okay, and okay, once that task is done, right, once this loop end, right, so what I want to do, what we supposed to do, we supposed to shut down, right? Otherwise it will be keep running or the thread will be alive in my system. We'll see. See total how many threads we are creating. So creating thread pool, thread 2, thread pool 1, thread 2, thread pool 1, thread 1, thread 3. So total 3 thread we have. 2, 2, 1, correct? Okay, let me comment this out. Other statements that we are having. 1 second. Let me comment this out. Let me remove this 1 to 10. I don't want to populate and just print this thread name. A lambda in the place of ex. You see here, you can see that how many times this executed. It will, you will see this maybe because we are having printing 10 times same, like, right? So this same piece of code execute 10 times, right? But every time either thread 1, thread 2 and thread 3, in between these 3 thread, one thread will take this task. So you see thread 2, thread 3, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. So randomly it will pick, okay, thread 2, thread 3, thread 1. So it's not like first thread 1 will get executed. It's nothing like that. So any thread will get executed first as per our processor scheduling. So if our processor, which or computer brain will decide, okay, no, we'll first run thread 1, so they will run thread 1. Okay, you can set priority also, no, first execute thread and all that and all we'll talk later. But today class is specifically meant to be to know how many ways we can create a thread, and it seems like pretty clear, right? And the executor framework anyhow we'll learn in details, okay, in the same course. So no need to worry about what is this new or fixed thread pool, what is executor, what is executor service and all. Okay. Okay. So we'll in next class we'll see thread communication. Okay. For today we are done.